12. Zara shopping secrets you can't afford to ignore. And ignoring even a few of them is exactly why people overspend, panic buy, or leave the store empty-handed. Zara isn't meant to be shopped casually. The layout, the limited stock, the constant new-in feeling, all of it is designed to rush you and make every decision feel urgent. And that matters, because while you're reacting, the store is leading. That's why some shoppers always seem to find the best pieces, the right sizes, and the real deals, while others walk out wondering what they missed. Today, we're breaking down all 12 Zara shopping secrets, the unwritten rules employees follow, the signals hidden in plain sight, and the timing tricks that decide whether Zara wins or you do. Some of these will save you money, some will stop you from buying things you don't need, and a few will completely change how you shop at Zara. Let's start with number 12. Number 12, waiting for the first markdown. Most Zara shoppers assume the price on the tag is final. It isn't. One of Zara's quietest shopping secrets is that prices are designed to change, and the store expects you to rush before they do. Zara follows a predictable markdown rhythm. New items arrive at full price, stay there briefly, then slide into the first round of reductions. The change is rarely dramatic. Sometimes it's a small red tag. Sometimes it's a subtle number shift you only notice if you're paying attention. This matters because urgency is manufactured. Zara wants you to believe hesitation equals loss, but in reality, many trend-driven items survive long enough to be discounted once. Waiting often means paying less for the exact same piece. The trick is knowing what usually drops. Statement pieces, seasonal colors, experimental cuts, and trend-heavy items almost always see markdowns. Core basics, popular silhouettes, and essentials usually don't. Smart shoppers ask one question before buying: will this still be here in a week? If the answer is yes, waiting is often rewarded. If the answer is no, that's when you decide whether it's truly worth full price. Once you understand this, shopping feels different. You stop reacting emotionally and start thinking strategically. You leave fewer regrets behind, spend less over time, and stop falling for panic buy pressure that never actually needed to exist. And once pricing stops feeling random, something else becomes clear. Zara doesn't just control prices, it controls timing too. Knowing when to show up matters just as much as knowing when to wait. That single realization quietly reshapes every future visit, turning rushed decisions into deliberate ones, and making Zara feel far less intimidating over time consistently. Number 11, shopping before the store wakes up. Most people shop Zara randomly. That's why it feels unpredictable. Another major shopping secret is timing, because Zara releases inventory in concentrated waves, not evenly throughout the week. New pieces usually appear shortly after deliveries, often early in the morning or late at night online. By the afternoon, the best sizes and colors are already gone, creating the illusion that everything sells out instantly. This matters because scarcity is often staged. Empty racks don't always mean demand. Sometimes they mean the store hasn't fully restocked yet. Shoppers who arrive at the wrong time end up settling or overpaying out of fear. The advantage comes from shopping before the rush. Early visits give you access before items are tried on, stretched out, or picked through. Online, refreshing during low traffic hours reveals pieces many people never see. Once you learn this pattern, frustration drops. You stop blaming bad luck and start planning better. You don't need to visit constantly, you just need to visit intentionally. Timing also explains why some people always seem lucky. They aren't luckier, they're earlier. They catch items before the chaos begins, before urgency takes over. When you combine timing with patience, Zara changes completely. The store feels calmer, decisions feel clearer, and shopping stops feeling like a race you're always losing. Which brings us to the next secret, because timing alone isn't enough. Zara also signals information visually, and once you learn to read those signals, the entire store starts communicating with you quietly. Colors, placement, and hanger spacing all hint at stock levels, future markdowns, and urgency, helping informed shoppers move confidently instead of reacting impulsively every visit without stress or wasted money at all times. Number 10, ignoring eye-level placement. Zara doesn't want you to notice how items are placed, but placement is one of its loudest signals. One of the most useful shopping secrets is understanding eye-level positioning. Items placed directly at eye level are rarely the best deals. They're the pieces Zara wants to move fast at full price. Eye-level racks are reserved for new arrivals, trend leaders, and items with high margins. They're positioned where your eyes naturally land, especially when you walk in distracted. That's not convenience, it's psychology. The real value often sits lower or higher. Bottom racks and high shelves usually hold items that have already peaked in demand or are being quietly tested before markdowns. They're easier to ignore, which is exactly why they're priced to tempt slower shoppers. This matters because most people shop lazily. They grab what's in front of them and assume everything else is worse. In Zara, it's often the opposite. The pieces you have to bend down for or reach up to check are frequently the smarter buys. Once you know this, your behavior changes. You stop rushing, you scan intentionally, you check below eye level first, then above, then finally the center. Online works similarly. Items pushed to the front page are rarely the best value. Scrolling deeper often reveals better prices, fuller size ranges, and less competition. This single habit quietly saves money and frustration. And once you realize Zara is guiding your eyes on purpose, you start questioning what else is being guided to, which leads to the next secret. Because placement doesn't just influence attention, it influences perception, and perception shapes how much you're willing to pay without realizing it. More than you think. Number 9, trusting the size label. Most shoppers think Zara sizes are inconsistent by accident. They aren't. One of Zara's most overlooked secrets is that sizing shifts intentionally between styles. A medium isn't a promise, it's a suggestion. Zara produces multiple fits for the same labeled size, depending on trend, fabric, and target silhouette. Oversized pieces run large, trend-tight items run small. The tag stays the same, but the cut doesn't. This matters because shoppers blame themselves. They assume their body changed or they picked the wrong size. In reality, the garment was never meant to fit like the last one you tried. This strategy increases fitting room time. The longer you try things on, the more invested you become, and the more likely you are to buy something just because it finally fits. Smart shoppers use this to their advantage. They ignore the label and judge fit visually. They grab multiple sizes immediately. They try on strategically instead of emotionally. Online, this matters even more. Size charts are vague on purpose. Reviews conflict because the same size behaves differently across styles. That confusion pushes faster decisions and fewer returns. Once you accept that Zara sizing is fluid, frustration drops. You stop chasing numbers and start chasing fit. And when you stop letting the tag dictate your confidence, shopping becomes calmer and faster. That leads into the next secret, because once sizing stops controlling you, another pressure point becomes obvious. Scarcity. And understanding how Zara uses scarcity is the difference between rushing and choosing deliberately every single time. It turns stress into control and transforms Zara from a guessing game into a system you finally understand completely without panic buying or constant regret afterward ever again, period. Number 8, panic buying low stock items. One of Zara's most effective tricks is how it uses low stock to rush decisions. When you see only 1 or 2 items left on a rack, your brain fills in the blanks. You assume it's popular. You assume it's about to disappear. You assume you need to act now. But here's the secret. Low stock doesn't always mean high demand. Often, it simply means Zara limits how many pieces are placed on the floor at once. Extra stock may be in the back, or the item may already be scheduled to rotate out. This matters because panic buying leads to regret. When shoppers feel pressure, they stop evaluating fit, quality, and price. They buy first and think later. Zara relies on this moment. That tiny spike of urgency pushes people to the register before logic kicks in. The item feels rare, even when it isn't. Smart shoppers pause instead. They check nearby racks. They ask themselves if the piece is actually special or just feels special because it's alone. Often, walking away for 5 minutes removes the pressure completely. Online, the same trick appears as only a few left. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's just a prompt. Once you recognize manufactured scarcity, it loses power. You stop treating every item like a last chance and start seeing which ones are genuinely worth it. And when urgency stops controlling your decisions, another pattern becomes obvious. Not everything Zara pushes is meant to be worn often. Some items are designed for a moment, not a life. That realization leads directly to the next secret. Number 7, buying trend pieces too early. Zara is fastest at trends, not longevity, and buying trend pieces too early is one of the most expensive mistakes shoppers make. When a new trend hits Zara, it arrives at full price, maximum hype, and minimum refinement. Cuts are experimental, fabrics are untested, fit is still being figured out. This matters because early versions are rarely the best versions. Zara often adjusts patterns, fabrics, and details after seeing how customers respond. Later, drops usually fit better and wear better. Shoppers who buy immediately pay the highest price for the least refined product. Shoppers who wait often get improved versions for less. Zara knows this. Early adopters fund experimentation. Later shoppers benefit from it. The trick is patience. If a trend excites you but doesn't feel urgent, waiting usually pays off. The second or third wave is where quality improves and prices drop. Online, this is even clearer. Initial drops sell unevenly. Later versions appear quietly, better constructed, and easier to wear. Once you understand this cycle, you stop chasing trends blindly. You let Zara test them for you. And once you stop rushing trends, another truth becomes impossible to ignore. Zara wants you to buy often, not wisely. Learning how to break that habit is the next secret that changes everything. Number 6, trusting the fitting room mirror. Most shoppers think Zara's fitting room is where decisions happen. In reality, the decision was shaped long before you stepped inside. One of Zara's most overlooked secrets is how mirrors and lighting influence what you buy. Zara fitting rooms are designed to flatter. The lighting is warm, directional, and positioned to soften shadows. Mirrors are angled just enough to elongate the body and smooth proportions. None of this is accidental. It makes clothes look better than they often will anywhere else. This matters because confidence is powerful. When you feel good in the mirror, you stop questioning fabric, stitching, and price. You focus on how you look, not how the garment is built. That emotional high pushes faster decisions. Smart shoppers treat the fitting room as a preview, not a verdict. They move around, they sit, they raise their arms. They imagine different lighting, different settings, different days. If an item only works in that mirror, it probably won't work long term. Online, the same principle applies. Perfect lighting and posed photos hide weaknesses. If a piece depends entirely on presentation, it's risky. Once you stop trusting the mirror blindly, you start trusting your instincts again. And when confidence stops being manufactured for you, another truth becomes clear. Zara's real goal isn't making you look good today. It's making you feel good enough to buy quickly. That realization leads straight into the next secret, because even when something looks amazing, the question remains, how long will it stay that way? Knowing this keeps you grounded, slows your pace, protects your wallet, and reminds you that lasting style comes from choices made calmly, not moments engineered to rush you inside Zara. Number 5, misreading Zara's sale timing. Most people think Zara's sales are unpredictable. They're not. One of the most valuable shopping secrets is learning when Zara wants you to buy full price and when it expects you to wait. Zara doesn't discount randomly. Price drops follow patterns tied to seasons, inventory levels, and trend cycles. Items introduced near peak demand hold price longer. Items introduced slightly off-peak usually drop faster. This matters because timing determines value. Buying too early means paying more. Buying too late means missing sizes. The goal is the middle, when demand softens, but stock still exists. Smart shoppers track items quietly. They note arrival dates. They check back weekly. If something survives its first wave, a markdown is likely. Online, this pattern is even clearer. Items disappear, reappear, then return cheaper. That's not luck. That's inventory management. Understanding this stops emotional spending. You stop reacting to new in-labels and start asking whether an item has room to fall in price. Once you master timing, Zara becomes predictable. And when a store becomes predictable, urgency loses power. That sets up the next secret, because even perfect timing won't help if you're distracted by the wrong sections of the store. Predictability also builds patience. Patience saves money, reduces regret, and limits impulse buying. When you slow down, you notice quality, fit, and versatility instead of hype. You buy fewer pieces, but wear them more. Over time, this shifts how you shop everywhere, not just Zara. The store stops feeling urgent and starts feeling optional, which is exactly when you gain leverage as a shopper. It changes habits permanently and makes every future purchase calmer, clearer, and less emotionally driven overall over time too. Number 4, shopping only what's in front of you. Zara doesn't just design clothes, it designs traffic. One of the smartest shopping secrets is understanding where not to spend your time inside the store. Most shoppers move instinctively toward the front displays and central tables. That's exactly where Zara places items. It wants you to buy quickly at full price. These areas are high visibility zones, refreshed constantly to create urgency and distraction. This matters because attention equals money. The longer you linger in these zones, the more likely you are to grab something impulsively before comparing options. The best value pieces are rarely showcased this aggressively. The smarter move is lateral shopping. Side racks, corner sections, and back walls often hold fuller size runs, quieter price drops, and items Zara isn't actively pushing. These pieces aren't worse. They're simply not the priority. Once you shift where you spend your time, your choices improve. You notice construction, you notice versatility, you you stop feeling rushed. Online follows the same rule. Front page items are rarely the best value. Scrolling deeper reveals less competition and more thoughtful options. When you stop shopping where Zara wants your attention, you regain control. Shopping this way also slows you down mentally. Instead of reacting, you evaluate. Instead of grabbing, you edit. That single shift reduces regret dramatically and makes your wardrobe more cohesive over time, because every purchase has a reason, a place, and a purpose, instead of being another forgotten impulse hanging untouched in your closet, waiting silently behind everything else you actually wear. And once control returns, another habit becomes obvious. Many shoppers waste money not because of prices, but because they buy items that don't work together. That brings us to the next secret. Number 3, treating returns like free shopping. One of Zara's most expensive mistakes happens after checkout. Shoppers assume the job is done, but Zara expects you to come back. Zara's return system is part of its strategy. In-store returns are easy, fast, and deliberately frictionless. Online returns, however, introduce small barriers like fees or effort that subtly change behavior. This matters because returns are rarely neutral. When you return something in-store, you're already inside. You browse, you try something new. Many people leave with more than they brought back. Smart shoppers plan returns intentionally. They return quickly, avoid browsing, and treat the visit as a transaction, not a second shopping trip. Online, discipline matters even more. Ordering excessive sizes increases the chance of rushed decisions later. Fewer, better considered orders reduce both cost and temptation. Zara counts on momentum. The longer you stay connected to a purchase emotionally, the easier it is to justify another one. Notifications, refund delays, and store layouts all reinforce that loop. Breaking it requires intention. Deciding ahead of time what you will return, when you will return it, and how you will leave prevents small decisions from snowballing into extra spending you never planned for later. When convenience quietly overrides logic and emotion takes control again during moments of distraction or boredom shopping. Once you stop treating returns as shopping opportunities, spending drops noticeably. This also explains why Zara doesn't rush refunds. Time creates distance from regret, making replacement purchases feel justified instead of impulsive. Understanding this flips the power dynamic. You stop reacting to convenience and start controlling exposure. And once exposure is controlled, the final secret becomes obvious. The biggest savings at Zara don't come from tricks, they come from restraint. Number 2, buying without a plan. Zara thrives on unplanned shopping. Walking in just to look feels harmless, but it's one of the most expensive habits shoppers have. Without a plan, everything becomes a possibility, and possibilities turn into impulse buys fast. Zara's layout encourages this. Outfits are styled head to toe, making single items feel incomplete on their own. A jacket suggests trousers. Trousers suggest shoes. Shoes suggest a bag. Suddenly, one item becomes 4. This matters because unplanned shopping skips evaluation. You stop asking how often you'll wear something or what it works with. You buy for the moment instead of your wardrobe. Smart shoppers decide before entering. They know what they're missing, what colors they need, and what they're willing to pay. That clarity filters distractions instantly. Online shopping needs the same discipline. Browsing without intent invites algorithm-driven temptation. The longer you scroll, the less intentional choices become. A plan doesn't mean rigidity, it means boundaries. When something doesn't fit the plan, it needs to be exceptional to earn a yes. Once you shop this way, spending drops naturally. Your wardrobe improves. Regret disappears. And when shopping stops being emotional, the final secret becomes unavoidable. Zara's strongest weapon isn't price, placement, or timing, it's repetition. Understanding that is the difference between browsing occasionally and being pulled back constantly. Repetition trains habits. Habits create loyalty. Loyalty keeps spending invisible. Breaking that loop starts with intention, not discipline. When you shop less often, but more deliberately, Zara loses leverage. You stop reacting to drops and start choosing pieces that earn space, time, and value in your wardrobe long-term, without constant pressure or regret creeping in later unexpectedly. Number 1, visiting too often. Zara's most powerful secret is frequency. The store isn't designed for occasional visits. It's designed to pull you back constantly, even when you don't need anything. New arrivals drop in small waves, creating the feeling that something is always happening. Miss one visit and you feel behind. Come back often and buying feels normal. This matters because frequency weakens restraint. The more often you visit, the less selective you become. Small purchases add up quietly. Smart shoppers limit exposure. They set rules for how often they check the store or app. Less exposure means fewer triggers. Zara benefits when shopping becomes a habit, not a decision. Habits bypass logic. Spacing out visits restores perspective. You notice repetition. You recognize recycled trends. You see fewer must-haves. Online, this is even more important. Endless updates reward constant checking. Turning notifications off removes pressure instantly. When you visit intentionally instead of habitually, spending drops sharply. Desire cools. Choices improve. This is the most important secret because it controls every other one. Master frequency, and everything else becomes easier, calmer, and cheaper. It protects your time, your budget, and your attention. Fewer visits mean clearer judgment. Clear judgment prevents impulse buying. Over time, this creates a wardrobe you actually wear. Zara stops feeling urgent and starts feeling optional. That shift changes how you shop everywhere else too, because urgency loses power once repetition is broken and shopping becomes intentional again. It's the difference between controlling your choices and being controlled by endless drops designed to keep you spending, scrolling, and returning without noticing how much money and mental energy quietly disappear over months, while nothing truly changes for you. So there you have it. 12 Zara shopping secrets most people never figure out. But the moment you do, the store feels completely different. Less pressure, fewer regrets, better choices. This isn't about avoiding Zara. It's about understanding how it works, so you stop shopping on impulse and start shopping with intention. If this video helped you see Zara differently, share it with someone who shops there all the time. And if you want more behind-the-scenes breakdowns like this, hit subscribe and let us know which brand you want us to uncover next.